From the Fatheads Eyewear Studio in Indianapolis, Indiana, this is The Skinny.
Maybe I need to start in the trash truck business.
Don't rule it out.
But the steering is spokes on the wheel straight ahead. The steering's broken. Bridges takes the wheel and he goes, whoa, whoa.
He's airborne, and then I'm above him.
Inverted.
All at the same time. Yeah, you're just like, wow, that's a wild picture.
He gets behind the race car and he tells me if I'm good or not, and if I'm good, he'll go, perfect.
I hang up on the guy. I go, who's this? This is Deion Sanders. I go, yeah, nice try. See you later.
Bounce and then this insane roll. That thing sent it.
I hate qualifying. It's the worst. It's literally the worst thing you could ever do.
But I'm smooth and creamy like milk chocolate. Have you ever not saw a Hershey bar that did not look good?
Hi, I'm Tony Stewart.
I'm Mario Andretti.
I'm Johnny Rutherford.
I'm Angel Sampe.
I'm Travis Pastrana.
This is Antron Brown.
Hi, I'm Kevin Thomas Jr., and this is The Skinny.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Skinny. We're here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Another great edition coming your way here. I'm Ken Stout. Rico Elmore sits right alongside. He is the man behind this entire show. The track dude, Michael Young. Are you over there? You awake, buddy?
I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Not behind the show.
Said I was behind the show. I'm not sure how to take that.
Well,
You hold us up, pal.
I feel like I'm under the show, maybe not behind it. But, yeah.
And the quiet guy is sitting over there to the side. That is a sprint car ace, well over 100 career feature wins, a dominant player in USAC Sprint Car, National Sprint Car Series. Great to have him with us, Kevin Thomas Jr., affectionately known as KTJ.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you're welcome anytime, of course, right here from the Indianapolis area, or living in the Indianapolis area now, I should say.
Yeah, I live just north of Brownsburg, Whitestown. Obviously originally from Alabama, so.
I mean, you can't tell.
No, not a
Part of the Alabama gang.
Coleman.
Try to be.
Coleman, right?
Yeah, Coleman. Yeah, it's like 35 minutes north of Birmingham. Nobody ever knows where it's at, which is fine.
I always call it L.A. Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama, I like that.
The other Kevin Thomas is from Lower Alabama. The original one, yeah.
The original?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he really?
Yeah, Mobile.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow. Two
One
of
north,
you
one
guys
south.
down there.
Yeah.
Is there a whole run of Kevin Thomas's?
I hope it stopped with me. I hope. Actually, USAC sent him my first USAC check. They didn't know. They thought I was his kid.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yep. When I was like 16
That's
years
a problem.
old. Yep.
Houston, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. It wasn't much. It wasn't nothing to brag about, but
$200. He's
Yeah.
wondering why you got it.
he needed to put some more fuel in his Harley. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, another pretty solid year.
Yeah.
Inside of the sprint car. I actually read where, I correct me if I'm wrong, 5 wins
Yes.
but I saw a total of 6. Did you win an outside race?
I won a CRA race at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Basically, I try to go out to the West Coast whenever it's like mid-March, just because we always get rained out and kind of just get back in the flow of things. So we won a CRA race out there for Chris and Jennifer Bono, which is where I'm going this week as well for the Western World to run their car. So they're good people, and then came back and had a pretty decent season in the 3R for Rocksteady.
Yeah, I mean, 48 starts, I think is what I read, but constantly, dude, you're constantly in the top 5, really the top 4. You've been third 3 times at least that I know of. You're constantly pounding around up there. You've been so close.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up 2018. I mean,
Yeah, that's
and I think it was, I don't know what the time frame was of USAC, maybe like its 69-year history, whatever the history of USAC was. It was the first time that I believe that 2 people had ended up in a points tie at the end of the year, you and Tyler Courtney. So it went to a tiebreaker. And what I found, and he, unfortunately for you, won it. Fortunately for him, obviously. I've got to stay bipartisan in that field. But here's what got me was how many times you've been the winningest non-wing sprint car driver of the year.
Yeah.
And that year you were not. I think 17 in front of it and 19 behind it you were, and you didn't get it that year. Consequently, it went to him on number of wins.
Yeah. That was a heartbreaker. Obviously, like the last race, it comes down to the Oval Nationals, and you're like, I have to win because he's ahead by X amount of points. If I win, he's got to finish 5th or worse. If he finishes 5th and I win, then we win the championship. It come down to the last lap, and actually an ex-Rico guy ran out of fuel, and that gave him back that spot. So,
Oh, wow.
and it didn't register.
Guys, forward.
It didn't register on the board either. So whenever I crossed the line, I looked up, and I thought I won the championship because it didn't show the 7 car in 5th. So I was pretty excited. We just won the Oval Nationals again. So, a lot of emotions. Then I get down there and they tell me, no, he ran 5th. So you lost, you ran 2nd. And I was like, well, we won the race, but it was a good year. And we've had a lot of good years like that are tough, and we've had some ups and downs, but those, I would have paid good money to have my winningest year be 2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years have you drove for Hank?
This is the first year. This is the first year. Yeah.
Those guys are unbelievable, are they not?
I really do like those guys, and this will be my first time, I'm pretty sure, other than maybe my own car, that I'm running for the same team the 2nd consecutive year. So, and like this year, like we had a pretty good year, but there's a lot of ups and downs. Kyle Cummins was there for 8 years, and he does things. I mean,
Spindler's still there, Tim?
Yeah. Everybody's really still there. So, and me and Kyle are just completely opposites and quite frankly everything that we do. So it's like he's more quiet and I'm obviously not. The way we like race cars, the way we drive, everything's just completely opposite. So heck, I feel like we spent 8 months figuring each other out. And now we got to a point about SmackDown, right there in August, that we started clicking off stuff. And then we went on a run that, I think we ran in the top 2 like 4 times in a row. And then, this weekend we ran 5th and 6th. So it's like we have more of a package that I feel comfortable with, that we're going to show up no matter what style track, what size, dirt, doesn't matter, that we can go and be competitive. So I'm really looking forward to next year.
They were a lot of fun to race with.
They really are, and it's
Hunter Schoenberg drove for them when we sponsored Rocksteady. That 35 car that's actually sitting up there on the shelf, that was that car. And they have been, how long has Hank done it?
25 years, I think. Somewhere by, I think it was like 90. I want to say first.
I think he had Tim first, right?
Yeah.
Did he not have Tim Spindler first?
I think it was like 99, 2000, somewhere around there. So 25, 26 years at some point.
And his brother, Dirk, who, God rest his soul, passed away.
Yep.
Nobody could have more fun than Dirk.
No,
I just put it to you that way.
Well, they actually have a thing, he passed away 5 years ago. They have a party down there. It's called Dirk Fest. And everybody, my wife made the shirts this year, but they always get shirts made, and like the logo that's on our car, it's usually like on the nose piece. It's like eyeglasses and a mustache. Well, that's Dirk. That's like their tribute to him. So we have a good time down there. And Dirk was, I didn't get to get real close to him, but there were times that I spent a couple weekends down at Hank's, and it's a wild individual. So,
Game on.
Yeah. I didn't go apologize. I didn't say my bad, nothing. I didn't know too. One, he shows up in, shorts, work boots, mustache. He's the terrifying guy. He looks like the Terminator.
The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. Innovation is our life force.
Set the most quick times in a single season at 15 at one point in his career. You're looking at KTJ, Kevin Thomas Jr. Welcome to the set, my friend. We were chatting before. I heard you mention that it took, you felt like, the better part of 8 months to really start jiving. And anybody that's been in this industry understands that you're not going to win races unless you have some sort of chemistry where your yin is his yang, and you guys kind of understand the unwritten language, if you will, between the two of you. So that's how important it is. And it sounds like it really started to jive there at the end of the year. So if you can carry that momentum on, now you've got something.
Yeah, and I firmly believe in that. And I've ran my own cars before, and I've had good years, bad years, and just figuring things out. Even just jiving with yourself in general. Being in a good mindset, being around good people, getting everything in line affects the way you race cars. And, with the group that I have behind me, figuring out race cars is one thing, but I'm a little intense, as we all know, but, being able to use that and form that into the right direction is something that this team has really helped out with. And, being a part of, Rocksteady Racing, Hank, Tim, my buddy BK, there's a lot of
BK.
Yeah, BK. Yeah, he's still there. And, so there's a lot of people that me and Hank joke, we're the two short man syndrome. We're the fiery ones. And then BK and Tim are, more level headed. So we mesh well.
He is Tim doesn't say anything.
Nothing.
Hank never stops.
No. There's times when I get out and I'm animated, but Tim understands that my animation comes from care. I expect to run good. I want to run good. So if things don't go our way and it's a situation that I could have, I guess done better with or whatever it is, I feel like it's my fault. I tend to get fairly irritated, but every time I'll be in the back of the trailer and I'll see Tim, he'll be at the tail tank and he'll just, and I'm just like,
breath, buddy.
I'm like, all right, yeah. So it's been good, and he calms me down. He's like Buddha or something, and he just settles me down.
Tim's been around a long time, man.
And then
great guy.
And I want to say every time that I've basically melted down after a heat race, and he's done that, I want to say we've won every time.
Wow.
It's a weird thing. He just calms me down, and then I got trust in him, and then I just go on and race. So it's pretty cool.
From where you started coming up, and I mean, listen. Everybody has a passion. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has a goal. I remember the first time I met you. I remember the first time I met your mom and dad. I've watched you grow as a driver. I've watched you grow as an individual, as a competitor. And I mean, it's pretty cool to watch. Yeah. It really is. And I congratulate you for that. And dude, you could win the championship with Rocksteady.
Yeah.
You really could.
Yeah.
I mean, man, if you have Tim on your, in your corner the whole year and you guys are starting to figure it out and what's happening. I mean, I love watching the sprint car guys still. The midget stuff, I love all of it. Don't get me wrong. But the midget stuff, they're a little out of control. And they need to slow down to speed up and make it a little safer for themselves and everybody that's around them. Yeah. And I say that out of care, not out of talking down to anyone, but watching the sprint car guys, I mean, it's back in the day, we had Stambro, we had Cottle, and, we had a lot of different guys, Brady, of course. And if it went down the wrong way, there was probably going to be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing about the sprint car stuff or the midget stuff. Nobody gets their head thumped, like if they got their head knotted up a little bit, they'd probably figure out, man, you know what? I probably better not do that to him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like I grew up racing. The way I learned how to race was racing against Stambro. I was, their last 5-8 years or whatever, but I grew up racing against Stambro, Dave, still race against, and all those,
Cottle a little bit too,
and all those guys. It's like I do remember there was a time I got into Stambro at Hopstadt, and I didn't go apologize. I didn't say my bad, nothing. I didn't know too. One, he shows up in, shorts, work boots, mustache. He's the terrifying guy. He looks like the Terminator. He scares the shit out of me.
He literally is the silent assassin. That's what we call it.
He doesn't speak. He doesn't do anything. I'm like, that guy has maybe killed somebody.
Yeah.
Like it scares me to death. I'm like, okay, I'm not messing with him. So I got into him, and I was watching the track. They were doing track prep down there at Hopside, as they do, and he come up to me and he gave me some choice words, and I just said, yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I've never had a run in with him. I don't run in with Shane. I mean, he's big as a house.
Shane is a redneck. He will come after you in a minute.
And he's got a temper too, and like that's terrifying to me.
But there's not a lot of that in
I think they got him wound up one year at the Chili Bowl.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
where he walked all the way from the track all the way to the back of the.
Yeah, he needed oxygen after that one, but he'll make it. He'll make it all the way there. So running with those guys though, just it like taught me a little bit of respect, and like I have a temper, yes, but like whenever that happens to me, or if I do it to somebody, I expect them to come down, either want to bash my head in, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever it is, I expect it. But it's like in midgets, it does happen more often, sometimes in sprint cars, but you do that today, and it's like, oh, that guy's got a bad attitude. I'm like, y'all should have raced 15 years ago. You ask them to run stairs, though, they ain't making it. It's different. It's just a different breed. It's a different breed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching The Skinny. We're here in the Fatheads Eyewear Studio, Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where it's all going down. We have KTJ in the studio here with us this week, Kevin Thomas Jr. Speaking of some of the old-time names, and I don't want to say old-time names. I hate to call Dave Darlin that, but he was always the people's choice, and he was the fan favorite. But people's I read that your most memorable moment was passing him for your first USAC win at Bloomington.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's just because like I didn't grow up in racing, so I always tried to learn from two guys, and one of them was Stanbro, one of them was Dave Darlin. And I was like, if I have a chance to pass Dave Darlin on the top, which is who I always admired of how he ran that, just being in that opportunity and taking advantage of it was very cool, and to win your first race, and basically when you've dang near wrote yourself off for the last couple of years because Rico explained earlier, just highs and lows. So being able to pass him for the first win and hold him off was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, and he was the man, no doubt about it. Very, very good at what he did, and that's the beauty of USAC, right? Yep. And the National Sprint Car Tours. There's not just one man. There's 10 of them guys, that you have to beat. So to get that first win, it is a big deal.
Well, you look at the torch, how it was passed from Dave. Dave stood in there a lot longer than, a lot of people, and was still competitive. Stanbro, Cotto's still messing with it a little bit here and there, but, the Damian Gardners, the people like that, these guys coming up and going at them. They were the young guys. They were, him, Grant, of course, Brady, Seavey started getting in there.
We've never really talked about this. I'm curious because you're absolutely in that generation that he's talking about. Do you feel like the micros, and I don't know that you came through the micros, but do you feel like the micros have really taken a stance for your age group that was coming up through? Like you guys had a lot of seat time in race cars before you got into the sprint cars and the midgets. And I feel like you're kind of that first generation that was able to do that.
Yeah, I feel so. There's a lot of them that started out in just sprint cars. I'm kind of that way. I didn't run but maybe 10, 15 micro races, and I hopped right into a non-wing sprint car. So I didn't come from racing, and my racing background is very short. So, to answer that question, I do think that being able to run competitive race cars at such a young age, it is breeding people to hop in quicker and better. It took me or Grant or whoever, 10 years to get good. Well, now these guys are getting good in 2 years, like a Dason Pursley or things of that.
Yeah, they start off at 5 or 6, and by the time they're 15, they've got 10 years of
race
prep.
They got as much racing experience as what we have. Not necessarily in the same car, but just overall sense of how you, get around a racetrack, how you set people up to pass. Even just the endurance of it. Being in race shape, that's a real thing. We know Brady's not got a 6-pack, but he can run 400 laps if you ask him to. So it's like
I got to tell you, I am amazed with that whole program.
It's a real thing.
Well, Kinzer brought that to light. I mean, talking about somebody that was not in shape, but he could run a sprint car, pitch a cigarette out, and put the big belly in, and stand on the throttle, and he'll kick your ass.
He would get in. They get out of the car, and I mean, you would think that they're just about ready to fall out. How they're perfectly fine.
No, they hardly sweat.
Yeah,
it's wild. You ask them to run stairs though, they ain't making it. It's different. It's just a different breed. It's different breed. But I do think the starting earlier, in very like even micros, it's not just, okay, we're just racing on our local tracks. They're traveling series. They pay $10,000-$15,000. You know, we're breeding race car drivers at that point. So I think, you know, that's a huge advantage, you know, starting now, and especially at a young age. But that was a moment where you're like, I have to strap it on.
Yeah. This is what
like,
we're talking about.
It's weird because like you're emotional, and then you have to see red.
Welcome back to the Skinny. This is the Fatheads Eyewear Studio. Kevin Thomas Jr. in the studio with us. KTJ, as he's referred to at the track. Great to have him with us. I'm sure you have some important races along the way that you have won that would stand out, but how is 2016 with the Brian Clausen, the Celebration of Life event?
That meant a lot. Just obviously the timing of that was huge, and you know, and everybody was, you know, feeling, you know, a certain way about racing at that time, and being able to win those things and see what it brought to the entire Clausen family, really, you know, just how they supported racing even after, you know, a tragic incident like that. It means a lot. You know, you need those things, and as bad as it may seem, like being at the racetrack was probably the best thing. And having the honor to win that, you know, being in that position, winning races is always fun, but, you know, winning it in such a special memory of somebody is somebody that I looked up to as well. And a lot of us did. You know, he was 4 or 5 years older than us. He was the guy. That's who we wanted to beat. And then, you know, winning something in his honor at a place that he loves so much. And we all do, Kokomo Speedway. So, you know, just seeing smiles on people's faces shortly after, I want to say it wasn't but a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks after, you know, an unfortunate circumstance to see people at the racetrack. And heck, I think we went through a tornado. It's just a full.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. I think
funny. I had forgotten about that. And I was like, it's almost like Clausen was up there stirring the pot. You know,
he winning this one. I'm winning this one. So, you know, that was very special, and like I have that. There's the only one trophy that I have in my house that my wife allows me to put out is that one. So it's just pretty special.
Yeah, I would think that would be a real special one, obviously why I brought it up. But you're right, the timing of it is what makes it so difficult, because it's a life goes on type of situation. Racing's going to go on. But as you said, the family's so heavily involved afterwards, 100% showing their support towards this industry. And the way they handled it, absolute class acts. The mental capacity and strength that his family showed was second to none. You know, very, very impressive. But you said something there that I think was the most important part, and goosebumps obviously thinking about this, but you said you saw smiles on people's faces, and that's what it did. It took it all away for a man.
Yeah, and that's one of the first experiences I think I've ever had where you see like a Dale Earnhardt whenever he passed away, and you know, at the end of the day, 1 week later, his son's got to strap on a helmet, go do a job. And you know that they always say like they would want us to be doing this. I've seen it from afar. I've never been like super a part of it. And that was a person that I looked up to, one, but that was a moment where you're like, I have to strap it on.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
It's weird because like you're emotional, and then you have to see red in 2 seconds. As soon as you flip the visor down, you got to go win a race.
And I think the beauty of it is it requires your 100% focus.
Yeah.
So it's a release for a moment.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, like you said, I have a job to do, but it requires every ounce of my attention right here.
Yep.
And you can't let your mind drift off to that sadness. And it starts lifting up out of it.
Yeah. And it is weird because you can, like, that's what I feel like the joy of racing or the wildness of it is you can flip that down, think about nothing but racing a race car. As soon as you cross the checker flag, flip it open, straight back to emotional again. So it was pretty cool. Just, I don't know, just as race car drivers, having that ability to shut things off is wild. And that's what I admire about racing in general is the family part of it, the friends, the full group as a family. And then we go out, we compete. And, you know, it's like Justin Grant's one of my better friends, but he crashed me. I want to rip his head off. Then I go drink a beer with him. So it's like being able to compartmentalize all those things and then, you know, winning a race in somebody's honor like that we all looked up to, and just the way he presented himself, he carried himself, was super special for me, my family, but I think for theirs.
He was smooth.
He was in his prime.
Yeah.
So he was the man. He was in his prime. Absolutely ripping. I mean, what an incredible race car driver to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a person too.
Yeah.
Because that's where I learned about him first, was when I first moved up to, we lived in Whitestown, which is actually where I live now, right across the street. So he would always come over we had Tuesday night parties. All of us were definitely not of age, and we would play Nerf basketball. I'm like, this guy's an athlete. Who is this guy? I didn't know from Chino. I had no idea who anybody was. And I got to know him kind of from afar, but I'm like, this dude's a competitor. We're playing basketball around a pool table right now. He wants to beat everybody's ass. And I'm like, I like that. And then he's like just very regular and nice. And I don't know, there's something about being able to, I admire being able to switch those things on and off. So it's
he could run the business of racing, and he could have a good time with that.
Yeah.
And he knew how to have fun too. He was a little bit of a jokester as well. So it was he's definitely a big boss.
Our good friend, we'll dedicate that segment to Mr. Brian Clausen. We miss him dearly. We'll be right back.
You know, being able to have the confidence in kart, no matter really what car. I think I've won 5 in 5 different cars down there at Hauptstadt, and then 3 Oval Nationals in 3 different cars.
The Skinny is brought to you by American Coach. American Coach, innovation is our life force. And Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04.
Welcome back to Indianapolis, Indiana, the racing capital of the world. We have KTJ on the set with us here today. 3-time Oval Nationals winner. Congrats on that one. You've had a couple of seasons where you've won like 3 consecutive in a row like that.
Yeah.
Where you just get on a roll and let her rip.
Yeah, there's certain places that you're just good at, and I've actually never won a prelim night at the Oval Nationals, which bugs me. But I'll take the 3 final
take the
nights.
feature.
I'll take them. Yeah. Me and Grant always we battle back and forth. He goes, I would trade anything for one, and I'm just like, nah, you ain't getting this.
Yeah. He gets the prelim, but you get the prelim. You get the win.
I'll take the last one.
Hauptstadt Hustler, as well. I mean, 3-time.
We won that one 5 times now.
Wow,
5 times. So it's that's a place that I grew up racing, and you know, started out terrible, figured out how to race it, and
no joke.
Yeah, it's
that place.
No
joke.
It's a different breed of racetrack, and you know, you don't drive it like anything else. You don't set your cars up, you know, like anywhere else. So it's to be able to be good there is a distinct, you know, I guess, driving style. And it's not even really my normal driving style. I got to like do everything different. So to be able to accomplish that and win so many races down there is pretty fun.
How cool is that to have that level of confidence? First of all, I know where I'm going. I know how we're going to set the car up. It's going to at least get us in the window. And I know how it needs to be driven there. All that confidence you carry in, it's got to be wonderful.
It is. And, you know, being able to there's a few racetracks where I feel that way. And, you know, Paris, California is one of them at the Oval Nationals, and Hauptstadt's another one, even Kokomo at times. But, you know, being able to have the confidence in kart, no matter really what car. I think I've won 5 in 5 different cars down there at Hauptstadt, and then 3 Oval Nationals in 3 different cars. So it's nice knowing that, you know, you can go there and you know exactly where you need to be on the right part of the racetrack, the right times. And, you know, both of those are 40-lap races. So maybe we should just always run 40-lap races.
I love that you just said that. 5 different cars. To me, and this is what I say about Larson all the time, right? You put Larson in a super late, and then you put him in a sprint, you put him in a midget, you put him in a cup car. There's one common denominator here, you know, and for you to be in 5 different cars and win out there, there's one common denominator. That's you, man.
Yeah.
That's getting it done.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And, you know, and Rico's seen, like, from the start, like, I think a lot of that goes back to just working on your own stuff and knowing how to get yourself in a window. You got to learn somewhere. And, I picked out a few people to, kind of mirror driving wise. I picked out a few people to mirror mechanically too. So I think Bubby Jones was one of them, 2012. Just the way he goes about all those things is something that, you just got to keep your notebook, pretty steady and keep it open all the time and write things down and, keep your mind open to other ideas. And I think that's what gets me in certain windows and of different cars that I can just get close. And then if I'm in it long enough, then we can, transition that into longevity.
Hey, for the fans at home that might not be sprint car fans, I know you dabbled a little bit in the wing racing side of things on the dirt. So we've been talking about dirt sprint cars for the fans that might not be aware of that. And obviously you ran some dirt wing stuff there for a minute as well. But there's nothing like backing a non-wing car in. I mean, those are when people say they back it in, it started with a non-wing sprint car. And the driving style could not be any more different.
No, it's it really is a one-of-a-kind feeling. Like there's always comparisons between midgets and wing cars, but like non-wing sprint car, they're just out there by themselves. So, being able to do those things, having trust in, a narrow race car, really. It's got big tires, but you're sitting in this thing. You can touch both sides of the race car with your elbows. It's a wild thing.
You can reach out and touch the top.
Yeah, you can reach out, and I rocked myself into gear with the left rear. So it's a wild experience, and having the trust and the capabilities of the car to go in there at some places wide open, and it not just fly to the moon is it's hard to wrap your head around. From the outside looking in, you're like, oh, they're just drifting around there. Like, no, we're scared every time. If somebody says they're not sketched out when they go to Terre Haute, they're lying out of their teeth. It's the most terrifying place, but you have to go do it. So like that's being able to switch things on.
What do they weigh? They're about 1,500 pounds? 14?
Yeah, I think the weight roll is like 1425.
Right, 1425.
Yep.
And call it 950 horsepower?
Yeah.
And you just set on the map. I mean, there's areas where you've clicked it in and
you're right back to it. And, they're not as fast as a wing sprint car because of the downforce, but, just the scare factor in itself, it kind of equates it back to the same. One, you're going 40 mile an hour faster, but this one might fly the Chick-fil-A. You never know.
I promise you, it's not a game for everybody. Sometimes you just need to watch these crazy people do what they do. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
There's more things that can go wrong at Chili Bowl that can go well.
You're looking at Kevin Thomas Jr. Great to have him in the studio with us. Lives just a few miles away here, just north of Indianapolis. Great to have him out here. Of course, chases the tour with the USAC National Sprint Car Series. Also runs some midget races as well. And speaking of running some midget races, there's this one in Tulsa, Oklahoma that they hold every January, most prestigious midget race in the world. And you, my friend, made the A-Main there in 2018, I believe it was, and finished inside of the top 10. Did you finish ninth?
Yes. Yeah, that was my first one. Like, I've notoriously been not a great midget guy, so making that one's tough for me. But made it in 2018. I want to say we made it another couple of times with the Drive WFX car. It was a 5T owned by Kiwi, and he's from California. So we had a pretty decent run here lately. This year we're going to run for Alex Bowman again. I actually just talked to him earlier about some setup stuff. So, I think we got a good program over there that's capable of doing the job. We got to beat Logan. Obviously, he hasn't lost in a couple of years. So I think just getting in the show there, running inside the top 10, giving yourself that opportunity for late in the race is key there.
Yeah, those prelim nights are just uber important, to get out of the box good.
Like a promoter straight, the
every one of those prelim nights, yeah.
And especially with them only taking 2 now, you think, okay, I ran on the podium. You still have to run a 20-lap B main. Things can just happen, and at that point, it's late in the day. You can get taken out running the bottom first lap. Somebody stacks up in there. So there's a lot of things there's more things that can go wrong at Chili Bowl that can go well. And whenever they've just winning 2 in a row, and I know who he's running for is Kevin Swindell. He won 4. So it's just winning those in general in consecutive years is like basically a miracle. Like you put that on the roulette table, that's 00. And
I believe the stat on that was, if I recall properly, nobody had ever won that race back to back, and then he did it 4 consecutive.
Yeah, 4 times. Yeah, he said, "Hold my beer."
and there was a time. Now it's been a few years, but there was a time between his wins and Sammy's wins, his dad's wins, that they had won 30% of the races.
Yeah,
at the Chili Bowl.
Yeah,
that's
a
how
wild
successful
stat.
they had been.
And the work that they put in too, it showed. Obviously Sammy's getting older, and in Kevin's situation, but I'm good friends with Kevin. Like, he takes that race very seriously, and and it shows. He got arguably one of the best dirt drivers that he could get, and he built a very good midget for that race, and he puts a lot of effort into it over the course of the year to make sure everything's right. So kudos to them. It's a hard race to win once, much less at that point.
Has he still got the energy drink?
Yes.
Still fuel, right?
Yeah, Victory Fuel. So it's not an energy. It's more. It's water. Yeah. So it's really good. We drink the out of it. I love it. So, and I don't like drinking water that much. So that kind of supplements some of my unhealthiness.
When you say it's a water, I mean, it's like a replenishment type of drink?
Yeah, it's got vitamins and B12, all these things in it that I haven't.
All the stuff we do already.
Yeah.
You and I are good at that.
Yeah.
If it's like in Body Armor,
he laughed.
Yeah.
If it's like in Body Armor and it's with vodka, I think that works.
It does taste well.
That's potato juice. You're good.
Yeah. It does taste well. They got grape, they got fruit punch, and then they got like a lemon drink, and come find out they all go well with vodka.
Well, see, another common denominator.
Wow.
Yeah.
So think about
that. You
that.
got to stay hydrated.
You got to stay hydrated.
Well, that's what I always say about Body Armor or Gatorade. You're actually, it's kind of you're not getting dehydrated or staying hydrated, but you're getting where you need to go.
So the next day you can function, as you're saying. Yeah.
Fun hydration.
Yeah. Kind of like when you drink Red Bull and you stay up all night and wish you
don't feel good the next day.
Wish you were dead the next day.
Right, exactly. Yeah, really cool whenever I saw that, because I know you really don't focus on the midgets too much, but to go out there and be successful at that event, as you said, just trying to make the A-main. And then you mentioned it for the fans at home. He said they only take 2. What he was talking about is on the prelim nights, 5 of them, Monday through Friday, the only people that go directly to the A-main are the top 2 in each prelim night. So first or second, everybody else is on the alphabet soup. You go to the B's. So, I mean, if you take a look at that, that's 10 cars that are locked in.
Yeah.
So that means there's 14 that they have to fill up.
Yeah, there's 14, and a good night, running top 5, especially the way that the points format is. And it all comes down to your first pill draw of the night. You could draw, dead last in heat 1, where the track's not really racy. You don't get moving that well, and next thing you know, you're stacked up. You're either in a C main or a quad. There's so many, like I said, there's so many things that could go wrong. Just from starting the night, nothing that you even did, just pulling a pill. So, things got to line up. You got to have good race cars. You got to be good in yourself as well. And, just getting around there is difficult. It's indoors. It's, different with wheels. Everything changed. It's not a regular race by any means. So,
yeah. And to your point, we've got to take a quick break here, but what always amazes me is everything that could go wrong, to see people like a Rico Elmore constantly make the show, or a Jerry Coons constantly make the show. No matter what the adversity is on their qualifying night, their prelim night, they somehow find a way to make it happen again. It's nothing short of amazing.
No, it's amazing. And it gets taken for granted a little bit just from the outside looking in, that it's like, oh, well, Rico Elmore, he's good. He's going to be. There's so many things that could happen, and to be able to function. They've crashed during those prelim nights too and fought their way back. So, it's pretty admirable from the racing side of things that, to do it that many consecutive years.
Want to get the skinny on other guests and different types of motorsports? Check out our YouTube page and get the skinny. The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. Innovation is our life force.
Welcome back to the Skinny. Having a great time here at the commercial break, man. Everybody's laughing. You got to come join us sometime. Thanks for watching here. We're in Indianapolis, Indiana. KTJ's on the set with us here. Winding things up. This season's done for you. What's 2025 look like?
We're going to do the sprint car, with Rocksteady Racing again. Like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to a second consecutive year with them. We're going to run midgets for Four Kings Racing, which is a car that I've been running like the past 5 or 6 races, and we built a program there that I feel like is fairly respectable. And
are you going to run the whole tour?
Yeah,
the whole midget.
Yeah,
cool.
Whole midget tour. And then sprinkle in some things. I'd like to run a Silver Crown car or wing car. But we got that, and then obviously the business that we started. Getting that up off the ground this year and continuing that. So we're
talk about it. Tell us what you got.
So Inferno Armor is what we have, and we have 2 different things. We have extinguishment, which is like in a 16-ounce can, personalized, so you can put in your car, mules, race car, house, whatever you really want it for. So, and we got.
Like a fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
16-ounce can.
And so that's the logo on your hat, IA?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's PFAS-free, which is a cancerous, chemical. And then there's no foam, no powder, no real cleanup, just a little rag. So we like to do that clean and easy. And then on the other product that we have, it's a preventative product. So you spray it on your clothes, your suit, whatever it is. If you're in the elements of a heat or whatever it is, it's protective up to 2,500 degrees. So
wow.
A lot of race car drivers use it. That's our main business is motorsports and NASCAR crew members, whatever it is. That if you're in the in the elements of where it could hit the fan, you are going to be able to get away with unscathed more or less. So
what is that product? So if you say that one again.
So you spray it. You spray it on
you.
Yeah, you spray it on. So it's nanotechnology. I did not come up with this in my garage, but it's nanotechnology. Yeah, it's my neighbor's garage. And, whenever you spray it on, if you catch on fire, whatever it is, it'll protect you from 2,500 degrees. So whenever you're racing and it's 90 degrees outside, your skin's sweating, whatever it is. Well, if you, put 2,000 degrees right next to you, you're going to be a boiling egg at that point. So it doesn't take long to get there. Obviously, Nomex and things, they do their job to keep you from catching on fire, but the heat transfer is really what we wanted to add to a suit. We don't want to take anything away, just add to the protection that we have now currently, and prolong, whatever it is. There's times that you get knocked out and caught on fire, so we want to make sure that everybody can get back to where they come from safely,
or even grilling out,
or maybe even if you're like start a fire in your fire pit in the backyard.
Yeah. There's so many uses.
Yeah,
maybe
I tried my best to burn my.
Yeah,
I tried my best to burn the lake cottage down last weekend. It got a little aggressive for a minute, but so I'm guessing there's a website you could send people to.
Yeah, InfernoArmorUSA.com. We have all Instagrams, X, Facebook, all those things,
and we'll drop that on the B-roll. We'll put it. We'll pop it up there for everybody to see because. When I first saw that on your car, I forget who I originally asked. I said, where, what is the deal with that? Where did that come from? And I mean, it's an absolute genius idea because it is exactly what he said. You're in your suit, you're sweating. Well, then the heat gets there, the heat transfer gets there. It starts, it starts boiling, and so the more protection you can get, I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. So I'm excited to see that product grow. Where all it's available now, just online? Is that where you're running it through?
It's online. We have numerous on our website. We have lists of our dealers. So, and if you don't want to buy it from us, you can buy it. You're in the middle of Texas. We got people there all across the United States. So, we got all places you can drive to go get it instead of ordering it online.
Spray it right on your fire suit.
Spray it right on. It's instant. There's no dry process. It's
how
right
long does
now.
it last? You wash your stuff and it comes off.
As soon as you wash, you got to reapply. Kind of just like anything else. It goes away, not 100%, but we don't, we're not going to be there while you're washing
That's
to,
awesome.
scope it out and regulate that. So we suggest spraying it on before each race, and on you go, be protected, and
I love
don't
safety
catch on fire.
innovation. Very, very cool. Kevin Thomas Jr., KTJ, as he's affectionately known, has spent some time with us here. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for taking the time, brother, and coming in here. Wish you the best of luck going forward next year.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me. It's been a pretty fun interview here. So, I'm excited for next year, and hopefully we can come back and do this again.
Best of luck with the product.
Yep,
as
thank
well.
you.
Check it out online. Kevin Thomas Jr. We'll see you next week.